And we are all set and ready to go. So let's get started, shall we? Now, in order to get started, I have to remember what we were doing last time. And I believe we were... That's probably fine. I believe we were in the process of building this whole thing up here. And I think the next thing we needed to do is probably to set up defenses for it so that it doesn't, you know, instantly explode as soon as biters show up. So let's get up here. Every time you cross the train tracks, there's a small chance of a train coming out of nowhere and ruining your day. Didn't happen this time. Alright, there it goes. Yikes. Alright, so we have just like this entire area to defend against, basically. And annoyingly, we're going to have to expand this out later. Like, as we go, this area is going to get a lot bigger, and we're going to have to keep building it up. But for now, this should be fine. Alright, we're out of walls. Let's put in the turrets then. Make sure to have solid but not enormous overlap. Alright, then we're going to need to head down and get walls and... Actually, do we have this? We're going to need more like 200 walls. And I also need to set that up higher as well. Okay, one entity is being damaged and it's a turret. That is probably fine. Yeah, it looks like whatever happened was resolved. That's good. So now we just need to just sort of mind our business while we get stuff delivered to us. Where are these walls that are allegedly being destroyed? I don't see anything that could be causing that. Alright, well, we're just gonna ignore it then. Now I noticed they're still not delivering ammo to me. Oh, there they go. Hello. Thank you. Alright, and we've unlocked uranium. That's fun. What else is there? So we need to mine uranium ore to get that. So that's obviously a future problem. And let's get lasers, because that sounds fun. I don't know if it's practical. It probably isn't. Sure does sound fun. And here comes all the ammo. Alright, so that can all get delivered. And turrets. We had turrets automated at some point, right? Oh, but they're not being made quickly because the circuits or the gears are all being used on other stuff. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So that will, I guess... Is there anything we can do to improve the gears? Not really. Because it is just based on the iron supply, which just simply isn't very good. so we could reroute some of this iron from the new factory down to support the old one. That is technically a thing that I'm allowed to do. I don't think I will, though, just because it seems like that's going to make this all way more annoying and complicated and messy. Alright, so what I need to do is I need to find the belt of ammo, which should be going up here. Right, if I just walk over here, there's the ammo belt. So I can pop this on and then drag this across all of that. And doing weird stuff with the underground belts, but it's fine. Alright, so then we can go up this way. And that's probably fine. Let's just expand that out a little bit more so the belt is more internal. Because it is entirely possible for biters to sort of leak around this way rather than coming in directly from the north. So there is this sort of gap here which I should probably fill over. So just bring all the walls down to here. And that is in. Now I'm on the outside, so let's just step through real quick. And then we're going to need to actually get some belts over this way. And bring all this ammo up. Actually, is that too close to the wall? Yes, it is. So we just have to dismantle this and place it one further back, which is right next to the train tracks. That's probably fine. Alright, so this gets a turret. That same corner is still the one being attacked. And that can go over that way. Actually, does this work? So if I do that and that, I don't know if that'll work or not. It would be mildly convenient if it did. Cyan, hello. Welcome back to the factory. Oh, that does work. Cool. So that is fine. This is a corner, so it's like reasonably likely to be attacked. And we have to get these rocks out of the way. Alright, and then this comes along this way. And then we get another turret along there. And oh, I already brought ammo over here. Alright, so let's put the turret in. And is that belt too close? Yeah, so we're gonna have to. This whole defensive process has not been the most successful thing I've ever done. Alright, so that goes in there. Then we need, I guess, long-handled inserters for those. And that is pretty good on the physical number of turrets. So now we just need to not place this too close. So then the belt runs along this way and can block off all of these. So you get an inserter, and you get an inserter, and you get an inserter. And then we have to power all that stuff up. And somehow I missed the very first one. So let's get you. And then we get that one and that one. And then they all get powered up. And just this one down here left. Alright, this area should be hopefully well defended enough from there. And then we're just going to, I guess, just to expand the new factory out this way primarily, sort of horizontal to where the biters are likely to come from. So we can drag the wall over like that. Continue blowing up all these trees because we're going to be putting a factory in here. Alright, get a couple more. You also need to do some factory work. Yeah, there's always tons of stuff to do in this game, that's for sure. Alright, so let's just get one more turret covering over this way. And power it all up. Ooh. There we go. So now that is all more or less defended. And I guess the thing that could go wrong is it could come from here, like through this tiny gap and around to this way. I mean, that's technically a thing that could happen that I should probably prepare for. But hopefully it won't, because I'm going to be building factories and not building defenses. We'll just have to pay attention to see if that is indeed the direction they come from. So let's head back to the drone network area to restock. So where's the sort of central spot? More down this way. Alright. Getting all sorts of stuff delivered. Drones are so convenient. This is just the coolest thing ever. Alright, now where are my belts? What is all that? Where are all these guys going, even? Sort of wandering around. Looks like we're getting some stuff delivered now. This is very satisfying to do, just stand here and have a massive restock operation happen. Alright. Should be almost there. Let's see, the inventory button is this one. Yeah, we're still low on belts. But hopefully that will be fixed soon. We have this whole provider chest right here, which isn't being used. They're taking belts from somewhere else, I guess. Alright. And still very low on belts and walls, for that matter. We're getting attacked on the southeast corner, as usual. Actually, is that? Oh, that is. Okay, that is the iron ore node being attacked. Which is a bit of a problem. It means because we don't have automated ammo going down there. We have turrets set up, but they've just been manually fed. So we're going to have to sit here, collect a bit more belts, and then bring it down there for defensive purposes. Alright, that should be enough belts to make the trip. It is... Actually, I can just hardwire that onto the train network, right? Because I do have a train line running down there. I could just like put an extra cargo thing on, and hopefully that will just work without me having to drag a million belts over. So let's go craft up a cargo wagon. We might have to mess with some stuff for that to work. Alright, cargo wagon goes in there. And then it has to be loaded with ammo. And we don't need that much, but let's just get a bulk inserter and the ammo belt. Alright, so we chop that down. Then this needs to line up that way. And then we power it up. Alright, now this doesn't have to have a billion stacks. We can just transport like a couple, because it's not going to get attacked all that often, hopefully. So that should fill up relatively quickly. And then we're going to have to run down here and set up the other side. Which hopefully we're not going to have weird problems with it, like waiting to unload all of the ammo before it does any of the other stuff. Alright, so first off, yeah, these got quite damaged. That's concerning. So first off, we run the belts. Like that. And then we... I don't know why I keep doing this. So that has to do something like that in order to get over there. I keep putting these just barely too far away to work. Alright, so then we just have to power them all up. Alright, so that is all set up. Then our next step is to get another thing here. So we need a bulk inserter to pull from that and put it into a box. And then we pull from that box. And we put it onto a belt, which is going to run down this way until it connects into there. So that should, in theory, work. And let's make this box not hold all that much. So now, when the iron ore train next makes its way down, it should also deliver some ammo. And I might have to configure it differently so that, yeah, so there's now stuff being loaded into it. How do we do this? Oh boy. Oh, that's bad. That is bad. Alright, well, looks like the biters have gotten into the base. And they are chewing through something. Let's run over there real quick. Figure out what happened. Did they get through a... No, they didn't even have to go through the turrets to get there. We must have left a gap over here. Alright. We run. Yeah, there. Alright. Mission solved. So now we just need to get construction boat drones to put all this stuff back together, and then... Where do they even come from? They come from there down? Or is there just something off screen that I'm not seeing? Oh. Hello. Didn't see you there. Alright, well obviously you can't let that be a thing that happens. So this area gets to have its own defensive wall. See, I really wanted to be constructing the new factory today, but instead it seems like everything is just being attacked. Alright. We've unlocked lasers. Let's upgrade them, I guess. Alright. So everything is probably fine. We just need to... I don't actually know which way they came from. So let's make that a corner. And then cover this whole area. So that gets a turret. And that gets a turret. And that gets a turret, although there's a cliff there, so we're probably fine on that side. So now we just need to set up the belt. Which we go along like this. And then this one, it's gonna have to do some weird stuff there. Alright, now we put all these in. And we've done this again. Can I just move you slightly out of the corner so that it'll work better? Like that. Alright, so you get a power pole. You get a power pole. And you get a power pole. And you get a power pole. So now all of those get inserters, and then we just have to connect this belt up to ammo. And where is the ammo? It's right there, and we seem to be low on it. Yep, they're not even attacking the new base. They're attacking the old base in a bunch of new and exciting ways. Alright, so that goes along there. And it looks like we might have a serious ammo shortage, which is concerning. So is there a reason for that, or is it just because we have been expanding these belts all over the place? Probably just because we've... Oh no, there's definitely something missing here. Missing yellow ammo. And the reason we're missing yellow ammo is because iron plates remain a concern. Now, fortunately, I'm building a new base, which will have a lot more iron plate production, which will solve this problem. Unfortunately, I keep getting distracted. So, in all this time, I have actually gotten basically nothing done on the new base. So that's fun. Hopefully this all just works itself out. Is the iron train still messed up? Because because I was in the middle of figuring out how to fix that when the attack came and I had to run off. Alright, so now that corner is still getting attacked and it's still doing fine. Although it's really not getting repaired. Maybe they're just farther away. Okay, well we can just... Yeah. There were repair drones coming, they're just relatively far away, so it takes a while. Alright, so now we're back over here. So fortunately these boxes are still holding out. So we need to figure out how to make this train not care that there's something in the third wagon and only try to empty out the first two. Alright, so we have add weight condition has... Alright, well that's not gonna work. Oh. Alright, they're attacking back there again in the same place on the other side of the map. Let's unlock laser turrets. Then I won't have to... Theoretically, I won't have to move stuff around everywhere. Alright. Is that fine? Are they still just chewing on those same things? Yeah. Alright, so obviously our defenses there are not good enough. So we're going to need more. So hopefully laser turrets can research so we can stop having to spam ammo everywhere. Although then our defenses will go down during the night potentially, which I don't love. Alright. So the breach has been sealed. If this wall is gonna get attacked all this, I'm just gonna add in just a second layer. Get rid of that tree. Alright, so the wall is now double thick. And the turrets are still receiving ammo. So even if I put in more turrets here, like, they're not going to do anything because they're not going to have any ammo. So I guess we're just going to have to hope that they take a bit of a breather for a second. And can I put there's a radar somewhere in here, right? I just pop a radar down over here to figure out what's even attacking this place. Alright, radar, where are you? Alright, radar has been placed. Yeah, there are definitely biters running around over there. Alright, receive our new walls. And now, surely this time we will have enough peace and quiet to fix that train schedule so that we can defend the southeast corner. I really need to get, like, concrete pathways running around so that I can make these trips faster. Biter Soldier, thank you for the raid. I am currently dealing with sort of an onslaught of biters that are attacking annoyingly from like exact opposite sides of my base. So I keep having to run back and forth. Alright, now we can set this train up. Yeah. Well, thank you for the raid anyway, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how... Oh, do I have to set that like that? Maybe? Alright, so we have that. Is there any way of setting this to like empty except for the ammo? Item count? Yeah, so this is how we do it. So if iron ore is less than... Yeah, the lasers are great. I am currently in the process of researching them, although I think I'm going to need to upgrade my power as well. Alright, so this, we wait until that is less than 1 or... Ah, okay, well yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense why that happened. Item count... Ammo is less than 300, I think. So as long as both of those are true, then it'll set off. So that should probably be fine. We'll have to check to make sure, but we are also on the brink of running out of iron here. Shouldn't it be ammo more than 300? Hang on, wait. Let me think. Yes, and it should probably be greater than or equal to, right? So now it probably won't be a problem, but it should be fine. Alright. So now that is set up. Oh, we have to go change it on the other side as well. So, because you're never going to be full because your last cargo is empty. So instead of full cargo inventory, we need to set you to item count of iron ore is greater than or equal to 4,000. And no, this is the one that is important actually. So item count of ammo is less than 300. So if actually, no, I think I want this to be less than like 100. So now if it's low, and then we set that to be ore. So if it's low on ammo, it'll go back for a resupply of ammo. And if it's full on cargo, then it'll deliver the cargo. Alright, that should be fine. Alright, and it seems to have worked. It delivered all of its ore and then left. Alright, so that should be all fine. And we are currently researching laser turrets, so I probably want to get more power as well. However, the main priority that I really want to be doing is building the new factory so that I can stop dealing with this old mess, which is technically like 50% of a bus and just like a complete nightmare otherwise. Alright, so we go up here. This is just a random little train loop that I was using to figure out how trains work. Then this is the actual new factory. So far, we have made incredible progress. We have one smelter stack, basically. And I didn't even finish putting productivity modules in. So let's run through and do that. And just alright, I guess that's all of those for now. And then what I need to do is I need to just connect this drone port down to the other drone network. So that is probably closer than necessary. Yeah, no, these can go really far ways. So somewhere around here. Alright. So now we just have to power all of these up. Like that. And then like that. And then bring it over there. And now we should be in the drone network even while we're up here, which should be handy. We're probably going to need to set these up with... I don't know if they're within range. Some of them are within range to auto-connect. To auto-repair, rather. Some of them aren't. Alright, and then we also need to do the... We also need to figure out how to fuel trains, aside from just throwing fuel in manually when they run out, which is what I've been doing so far. Right, that side's being attacked again. It should be fine by now. They should have enough ammo to defend that. Alright, so now let's clear out some space and not accidentally grenade the railways. Alright, so space has been cleared out. Okay, we're gonna need more. We're gonna need so much space for this. Why did I have to choose like the most heavily forested possible area to build my new factory. Alright. That should be enough space, at least for a start. Now, what we need to do is... Oh, we need to set up train signals. I just realized I don't have any of those. Just plates and electronic circuits. Simple to set up. Electronic circuits is... I think I'm technically fine on electronic circuits. So let's run down and get those automated. Oh. There's been another breach, because of course there has. Looks like just one wall, and we managed to hold them off in the end. Alright, well that's probably fine. Although my supply of turrets isn't going incredibly well. Where did that happen? Yeah, that should be fine. It's just like this wall is 3 thick for a reason. Alright. That is fine, we can ignore that. And back to what we were doing. So we head over, find somewhere where we have both circuits and plates, which is apparently here. It's a lot of pollution compared to efficiency. Alright, that's good to know. I think it's probably fine, just because the biters are attacking a lot, but they're not really getting through. So I'm not super worried about that. Alright, so we are going to continue to expand out this absolute nightmare of a build. So this sulfur has to go underground pipe so that this can come up. And then we put that in, and it gets some of those and makes rail signals. So we power that up, and then they are just going to output into a box. Pollution output scales together with power consumption modifier, so efficiency modules can do minus 80% pollution on top. That's good to know. Yeah, I mean, again, currently not having serious biter problems, so we'll just keep that in mind for later. Alright, so let's add a rail signal. Probably only need like 50 of them at a time. And that should be good. Alright, turrets are... Alright, we have laser turrets unlocked. That's good. What do we want to research next? Laser damage. Seems handy. Now, how do you actually craft a laser turret? Steel plates, batteries, electronic circuits. Now, that might be a bit difficult to get set up at the moment. We have steel plates there. I think we have batteries somewhere around here. We had like just a giant belt of batteries running across a long distance, right? Yes, up here. So this is actually just the perfect place to make those two then. So we get that, which can just pull off of that belt. Then we continue dragging this poor belt up to deliver the circuits. And laser turret. Power that up. And then we just need to grab some steel plates off of this belt. And up you go. And this is somewhat cursed, but it's fine. And then we just have a box and an inserter. And the box, we're only going to want to store like a single stack. And then we'll just add that to the list of things I want to be carrying around, which is getting larger all the time. Alright, so there we go. Why is this unlimited? You should go down to there. You probably only need one stack as well. And hopefully that... Yeah, so now we're getting a good amount of circuits up there to laser turret production. Alright. Now, back up to here so that I can stare at this for probably another 30 seconds before realizing something else that I need to do down at the main base. Alright, so we have that train with plates on it. And we want it to... Okay. How is this whole train setup going to work exactly? Because I really haven't put in any thought into it, really, aside from just generally that it's going to exist. So we probably need two-directional rail, which we currently don't have. Currently it's just this one big loop. We could... Yeah, I mean, we could work with the big loop, but it's probably a bad idea. So let's get something like that set up. So if you go out like that, and then you go out like that, then we have these two rails which can go into there, and or I guess the other way around. What are we? So this would go down. Yeah, I guess we're British. We're driving on the left. Just because I don't want to turn all of this stuff around. Alright, so then we blast all this stuff out. And now we need just like a pull aside for the next factory, which is going to take the plates and turn it into like cogs or something, or gears or whatever they're called. Alright, so how do we go about doing that? I guess just... Hang on. Let me think for a second. So we need like another T intersection coming off of this, I guess. And this is not going to be anywhere near enough space for this. So then we have like that, and then that would continue on to like a train station, right? So we would put a station in there. I've come to the conclusion that this whole thing is very space intensive. And we don't really have a huge amount of space at the moment. As we could expand a lot more. But then this would need to... Wait, no, it would need to... Hang on, how do T-intersections work? Two-directional rail. Some weird stuff like that. Of course, there's a tree in the way. And we are very rapidly charging directly towards our power production. So this whole thing is going to need to turn... This whole thing is going to need to turn north itself, just to get out of the way of the other factory. Alright, so we need you to turn north first as sharply as you can. Which is not very sharp. And of course that tree is conveniently in the way. So you go up like that. And then you want you to be aligned to that. So then this... Gosh, this is difficult, huh? So we can go like that. Alright. So... Then this needs a second rail here for the station. And this has to go like... How do we... It's not quite sharp enough, so we're going to need to send you back one, I guess. So you have to go like that. And then over here, like that. Alright, that is a train intersection. Can I just blueprint that so that I don't have to fiddle with that? Alright. Renegade, hello. Nice to see you again. We are just making a T intersection blueprint. And alright, actually we need to put signals in for that probably. Train signals, where are you? You can go in the place of those, I guess. So clear that out. Rail signals in. Alright, now we get to figure out how these work. Alright, so if we just put one of those in. And then one in like up here maybe. I'm trying to adapt what I know from Satisfactory into this, but it's obviously not the same. So if... Alright, that goes there. That gets a signal there, I guess. think that gets a signal there. And if this works exactly like... Okay, hang on, I cleared it. So if this works exactly like Satisfactory, that should function, probably. I don't know if it does, so I'm sure it'll be fine, though. So then we get a train stop in. Oh, I already put a train stop in. Good for me. Looks connected, so it should be fine. That's nice to hear. Alright, now we just have to get this train to get over there. So I think we start by like going back a bit and then curving out and then through this wall. Yeah, this is way more spacious than I would like. Alright, let's get rid of some of these trees again. And we're going to have to rebuild this wall in a minute. Alright, that is not sharp enough. And so we're just gonna have to go even further out this way. Alright, trains and being confusing. Name a more iconic duo. So we just need this to loop around through this giant forest, which is here for some reason. And now we are out of train tracks. Alright, so it seems like if that's how difficult it's going to be to loop around, probably making giant loops like that is not the way you're supposed to do this. So the other option would be to just have that as like a pull-aside on the main route, which would probably be easier. Yep, definitely need more, so let's just stand here while the drones handle it. Should be getting another batch soon. They seem to just be sitting there uselessly, which means there's probably some drones from the other side of the map which think they're going to be helpful and bring me some stuff. But alright, at least they're giving me some turrets. Alright, there's the train tracks and grenades. There we go. Seems like they want to pull from the farthest away possible location first. Alright, train tracks have been supplied. Now we can go out and keep figuring this out. So instead of this being a giant loop like I would do in Satisfactory, I could do this, and I guess for this I will finish it off since we're 90% done. But I think it would be better to do something more like what I did over here, where the train station is like a pull-aside with the main thing continuing around it. So we would just have like, I don't know, something like that, and then go around and then back up. Who knows? But the important thing is I have my train station. which means I should be able to actually, this isn't even long enough. It's only got 2. Alright, so yeah, let's fix that. So instead of having it be like this, what if we take this whole thing out? And instead of doing that, we have just like even as close as like back here. So we can probably fit it in like there. And can I just make this a blueprint? So we need more, even more. And into the forest we go. Time to blow all this stuff up. Alright, so now we have that nice long track. If we were to just put a station on it, like that, and let's just set up this so we would have bulk inserters on all of those, and actually this is facing like the least convenient way, but I guess it's probably fine. So then we have to craft up a whole bunch more chests. Let's just craft a bunch of those. Energy weapons damage improvement. And let's see here. Weapon shooting speed. Sure, that'll be handy. Alright, so then we have these boxes which are going to go in like this. And we have another row of belts. And another row of bulk inserters. Like that. And that should be good for that. And we just power all of that up. Alright, so now let's make this a blueprint. So we can save this as train output stop. And make the blueprint. Alright, so now we just need to go back here and it really is not easy to get this set up, is it? So I think that last one is too far, I guess. No, this whole thing is too far down still. So we have to cut all of this out and then place it even higher up. I guess we didn't really need to take the train stuff out. Most of the tracks are going to be in the same spot. right? So let's put that in. And I wonder if all this will work. Yeah, we got an achievement for taking things apart. That's pretty cool. Why are all of you just sitting there floating uselessly in the air? Oh, is it because they're trying to build something on top of something which is about to be dismantled? Alright, that makes sense, I guess. Alright, so we have all that. Now, surely now this will match up. Please, just connect in. There we go. I guess we just had to do it in multiple parts. Alright, so now we have that. And this would continue to go up. And we are now taking this train like directly towards a biter nest. That's probably fine. And then that just merges back in like that. And now we have our nice, neat pull-aside stop. Alright, so then we would call this not Wobble 4, we would call it Iron Plate Output, I think. So if we call it that, and then we just need to we need to bring up the other side of this. So this needs to come all the way up here. And then this all needs to turn around. And then we just need to make this fit into a loop, basically. Alright, so then that train goes down that way. Then this train would go here, and we're going to need to get rid of a tree, and then we're also going to need to stop by to pick up some more train tracks soon. Let's do what we can for now. Alright, so if that goes like up to there, and then curves, and then, no, that's wrong. What if we just do that? Alright, that works. Or does it? Does it work? It's hard to tell. I think it might have secretly not worked. That definitely does work. Alright, now let's run back and grab some more train tracks. Interesting? Sorry, what's interesting? I may have missed it. Alright, so we get train track resupply. And even more trains and some other stuff as well. Right, that is all good. Let's run over this way to make the resupply faster. We are up to 49 laser turrets, so that's pretty cool. Almost done with that. And gun turrets are hilariously harder to craft than laser turrets in the exact circumstances that I find myself in. So we're just going to let this last wave of drones restock and then head back up. Right. And we're good. Alright, so now we head back up. And now I need to figure out what is going on with this whole thing up here. If this is actually what I want to be doing. So that is the left, and it goes up that way and around. Yeah, so this does work. We can just connect these two things up and make a loop. And that should be good to make. Alright, they're technically off-centered, so we're going to have to shift them over a little bit. So that just goes like that. And get rid of one last tree and send the rails across. And then this one goes down. And this one goes up. And then they do that. And done. Alright, so now we have that. And hopefully we can like squeeze a factory in here so it's not completely wasted space. But now we get to test this. So this train station is set as iron plate output. So if I go over here, this train station is iron plate input. And this train, add station, iron plate input, add station, iron plate output is inaccessible from current position. Did I mess up the signals? I may have messed up. Oh, I probably just need to put block signals in this area as well. And so it'll be there until full cargo, and then it'll be there until empty cargo. And we set that to automatic. And fuel, do I have 90 wood that I can throw in. What is that? Can't find path to destination. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to fix that. Alright, so we just need to put train signal, probably another train signal over here, and alright, so if I pull up the train map thing, the signals are showing green, except for obviously the ones around where the trains are. So that's expected. Now I may have just put that one of these signals on the wrong side. So that signal is on the right. Oh, does this need to be... Yeah, I think these signals are facing the wrong way. So that signal is there. Alright. Whatever it is, it seems to have figured it out. So now it'll go there and it'll unload its cargo, which we're only using 2 of the potential 4 cargo things, but I want to have 4 just in case it's necessary. Alright, and now we blow up all this forest. And probably just going to have to go fight those biters, huh? Like we're heading we're trying to expand and we're heading straight towards them. Like, it's just going to be more convenient, probably. I guess for now we can build another wall here. And we can put laser turrets up here so we don't have to deal with ammo. Although, if we do that, we will have to worry about... power, which is concerning. Energy per shot, 800 kilojoules. I'm sure that'll be fine. We're definitely not about to completely destroy our entire power grid any time a biter attack happens. So let's just pop a bunch of these down along here. And that should probably keep them safe. Alright, so then we just have to bring the cables across as well. And then this can come down to wherever my nearest power is. Also, it seems like our train signals were not actually a success because the train just got stuck at the next stop. Also, this is definitely not the nearest power. We definitely took the long way around here. Alright. But we did make it back to a power pole in the end. So now we just have to run up along here. Get all of these guys hooked up. And I fought a biter nest around here, which is why there's like all these random destroyed turrets. Alright. So that big spike was probably the laser turrets charging up. How much power do they need? 800 kilojoules per shot. And we have like 900 megajoules of accumulator charge, at least at the moment. So hopefully that lasts. Now we have to go and mess with some signals again. So we should probably put some signals around here. Yeah, I can't reach. Send a drone to do it then, if you can't reach. And then we go down here, and we'll send out another signal, because why not? And another one there. Yes. Alright, so that is then going to go around, and this signal needs to be on that side. Alright, so now we've gotten down to here, at which point we're waiting behind this train. So we just need to put this in. Like that. And then I think if I make that and that just its own separate block, then you should be perfectly happy to go around it. And it'd be really nice if you didn't have to go all the way over there every single time. There's probably some way of fixing that, but don't know what it is, at least not at the moment, and this factory is still too small for it to be a huge issue. So I guess the way we could fix it, I think I did just think of it. So if we just have like this also loop down to there, so we can just cut the loop off before it goes all the way over to the iron node. So no, wait, that's not gonna be super easy to do, is it? I'm gonna have to... Actually, I wonder if I could do this, and then we're gonna have to move that belt, which is fine. Let's just place this in first, so then we know where the belts can go. Alright, so that goes like that. Then this. Alright, now we went too far there, so now this needs to curve in like that. And that should be a fun little shortcut, probably. Assuming that something crazy doesn't happen there. But surely nothing weird will happen. I'm sure it'll be fine. Also, these are filling up using fast inserters. Let's give them bulk inserters, just so that it can be extra speedy. Right, looks like we're getting a bunch of walls and stuff delivered to us now. Not going to complain about that. Just watch this run. Alright. It looks like we are not filling both sides of the belt evenly. So this first bit is... Yeah, so it looks like we're prioritizing the near side of the belt and only some of it is making it around to the far side. Which is a problem, obviously. So how do we fix that? So the easy option would be to just make all of the bottom half of this just go directly to the far side. So how is this getting on both sides? Because this particular row is putting them there. Other than that, this row is putting them on that side. Alright, I don't actually know how it's all getting onto the... Oh, because there's also this row down here, which is putting it onto this side. Good grief, this is complicated. I guess the ultimate point is that these should be connected up via one of these instead of just jamming into the belt. So then this is going to want to do the same thing. So like that. And now this is all set up. And the iron ore train just zipped around. Alright, so hopefully that will be enough. Right, so now that train can go in and start getting filled up. Plenty of iron plates to be made here. While these boxes are mostly filled. So now let's actually build the factory in this, which is probably just going to be gears. I think we might... Let's see. We're going to need to also make copper before we can get too far into this, but I want to just make like as many of these intermediate components as possible, just all in one place. So gears, plates, and sticks all only use iron plates. So we might do a little bit of all of those, but I think we're just going to set up gears first. So let's get that set up. So we're just going to run a whole bunch of those along. And then that goes along there. Oh, and we have to do the same thing as we did last time. So this needs to not do that. We need this to come down like that so that we can have them merge up like this. And then this can twist around to go into there. And now we have access to both sides of the belt, which is of course quite useful. And now we just have to run that along. And then we put in the inserters. So all of these get an inserter like that. Then we just do the same thing facing down. Give all of these inserters. And then we have to deal with the output. So that belt goes along there. Chop down some trees. And this belt comes along here. And then we just need to get the inserters onto these and stop placing them in the middle. Is that right? Yes, that is right. The assemblers look smaller than they are for some reason. Alright. Oh, we are actually going to place this one on the middle just because of spacing. Alright, so then all of these go along. And then we need to power everything up, which is going to be annoying. So those power poles, I think if we just put one there, then that should get all of them. And then we have to do the same for the interior. There's got to be a better way of doing this that doesn't require quite so many power poles. I think there's like a substation or something that you can use that covers a huge area. But we're doing it this way, so there. Alright. Enormous number of power poles placed, and can we just like make this not be there, because I want to save this all as a blueprint, and that's like in the way. So can you just do that instead? Yes, you can. So that also lets us have that be nice and symmetrical. The train is out of fuel. Alright, before we fix that, alright, I don't want to grab that belt. I want to just grab all of this and save this as assembler row. And create blueprint. Alright, now let's see if we can't find a stack of solid fuel somewhere to throw it into the train. Alright, so there's plenty of solid fuel on this belt. So let's just grab some of that. And then we run down here, find that train and fuel it up. Alright, train. You just ran out like midway along the track, didn't you? Okay, down we go. Hello, fuel. I have a stack of solid fuel. And hopefully it isn't like constantly filling up and running back and forth with ammo. That would be annoying. It looks like it's functioning properly at least. Alright, so that is refueled. And now back to what we were doing. Up we go. And through all this fuel mess. Past the power line. And run across the train tracks and hope we don't get hit. Which we very well might at any moment. Oh, also, I just realized this also needs a block so that it doesn't get, so that trains can go through there while this is off doing its station thing. Alright, so now we just call these iron gear wheels, and we paste all this across. Hello, Alita Brooke. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Alright, so that goes across, and we are now making gear wheels. So, what we need to do is... Actually, how many of this is it? 1.5 a second, and uses 3 a second. This can move 30 a second. So if these use 3 a second, and these can move 30 a second, then theoretically 10 of these would be all of the iron plates we can handle, and we have more than 10. So that's fine. Better overkill than underkill. So now we just merge these two belts up, and alright, cool. Alright, there we go. Now we just get rid of some extra trees. And that biter nest up there has gotta be, I mean, it's sort of miraculous that it hasn't tried anything yet, honestly. There's a whole biter army over there. No wonder we keep getting hit hard on this side. Alright, regardless. What were we doing? We had these gears, and we need to just put them onto a train track. Is this your favorite game? I don't know. I like Satisfactory a lot as well. And there are some other games as well that I don't stream that I also enjoy. So I don't know. It might be my favorite game. Definitely in the top 5, I'd say. Without a doubt. Alright, so now how do we connect these gear wheels up to the train network? I guess we could just like... We could do something very cursed. Are you new to streaming? I have been streaming for a while at this point. Your favorite game is mostly the ones with too many hours in it? Yeah, definitely. See, for me, the problem with measuring it by that is that I have this tendency of just, like, leaving games on AFK for, like, a day on end. Like, so there are some games that I have, like, 500, 600 hours in that I definitely have not played for 500 or 600 hours. So it's sort of hard to judge. Alright, Alita, I think you're probably a scammer of some kind, so that's fine. Yours is 99% accurate. Yeah, that's better. It's too late to fix it at this point. Like, there are some games that have just been like that for ages. Okay. Yep, this... Alright. The probable scammer has been intimidated off just by mentioning it. Didn't even have to ban him, that's nice. Alright, so now we have to worry about these trains. So we need to get these onto a train track. And how do we do that? I guess we could, like, squeeze another intersection out down here, go around there, and grab them from this side. That seems terrible. The other alternative is we could grab an intersection off of this, then go up and then connect around to the top. That seems like that should work. Alright. So we're gonna have to bring the trains out across this, which is just gonna have to become an underground belt, I guess. Alright, well, we'll figure out the exact placement of the underground belt in a minute. So that comes out like that. Then this has to just go underground like that. And alright, that has been connected back. And all sorts of drones are making deliveries now, because we're within drone range again. Alright, so now we have that. We need to set up a station here. So, can I just... Oh, right, I need to put these in. So train output stop goes in there. I guess I can put that in. It's been sitting there. Alright, so now we take this, and it's not going to be perfect. Actually, is there a way of just like flipping blueprints? Let's see here. Copy paste trains, rail signals. Alright, cool. Alright, so that isn't what I want. How do you... It seems like there should be a way of mirroring a blueprint. What? Alright. Blueprint book. Train output stop. There's a flip control button. What button is that? So I can hit R to rotate it. Report upgrade planer. No, it's none of those, I don't think. Alright. Settings. Controls. Flip horizontal H and V. Okay, that's probably it. So train output stop. H. Blueprint with train stop cannot be flipped. Well, there we go. I guess we simply can't do that then. Okay, well, in that case, what we need to do is, yeah, exactly. Remove the train stop, make a new blueprint, flip it, and then replace it. Alright, I guess I have to craft it first. Gonna take that out. Have these drones place all the rest of this in. And okay, now they're just sitting around doing nothing instead of building the stuff. Oh, do I not have iron chests? Alright, let's craft a whole bunch of iron chests again. Oh, there were just drones from halfway across the planet decide they'd chip in and make things much slower. There we go. So that is all in. So now we make a blueprint. And we grab all this. And we go train loader. And make the blueprint. And now this we can flip like that. Alright, so then how do we need this to work? Do we actually not need to flip it? Am I just dumb? Okay, wait, we need this to go like up here, I think, in order to just have enough room for everything to get lined up. So if I just shift click, will the drones remove the trees that are in the way? Alright, that is fantastic. Alright, so now we have to do all this. And we are going to have to flip all of these inserters around. Alright, so that goes down because it has to face the other way. And in it goes. Then all of these inserters. Oh, you can actually just hit R to rotate them in place. That is handy. I feel like I knew that you could do that, but now I definitely do. So this all gets rotated around. I wonder if you can do that with belts. Probably not. Alright, now we don't need this anymore. Could you just take all that out? Thank you. Alright, so now we take this train and we send you up there. Alright, so that is good to go. If that's actually connected in. I'm not sure that it is. Sometimes like they have that weird thing where they show the little bar there. Alright, weapon shooting speed upgraded. Is there like energy weapons damage? I guess let's do energy weapons damage, because it would be really awkward if I had those laser turrets and they just didn't kill stuff. That would be bad. Alright, so now we have this, which goes up there. And now we have to blow up all of these trees that are in the way. Alright, now this train track comes along here and then connects into there. And that should be all set to have gears onto the train network. Oh, I do need to put this back in, though. Oh, and that's... Right, that's actually a bit of a problem. So we need this to go... We need that to go further north for the train stop to be placed right. So this needs to be, like, there. And then only after that can we turn over this way. Shouldn't be a huge problem. We're just going to have to... can we... Oh, what is that? Don't do that. Whatever that was, don't do it. Blow up some of these trees. And now we can try again. So that's as sharp as a curve as it can make. And then you just need to cut that corner a little bit, I guess. Cut it even more. And then connect into that. Alright. They are making progress down there. They seem to have gotten through a turret. That's not good. Do I have gates? Let's craft some gates and just make this blocked off, just as like an extra fallback point of defense in case something goes catastrophically wrong. So we need walls to go up to there, and then we need our gates. Oh, it has to be straight rails to go through the gates. That's fine. Not worth fixing then. Alright, so we're going to run down here. And where is this? Oh, this is the wrong corner. Yeah, there's another corner down here by the actual iron mine that they're all attacking constantly. And yeah, look at that. Alright. Turret is back in and being reloaded. Let's get... We have these brand new fancy laser turrets, and I don't think any of them have ever fired. So let's just get a couple of those in as well. Just put those and wall them in. And then is that just barely too far to work? Right, that's fine. We don't need that wall anymore. At least we don't need it to be as thick. So that can go like that. And then I think we're going to do the same thing up here. Just get some laser turrets out there. And wall them off. And we need to make sure that we're not, like, compromising defenses significantly. But that should be interesting. So that also does push out the laser turrets have better range, don't they? 24 versus 18. And they do 24 laser damage per shot, which is more than those. How fast do they shoot? 1.5. Alright, so they shoot a lot slower is the problem. A lot slower. So I'm not sure that they're actually going to be able to do quite as well on their own, but at least in this corner they're being supported by the gun turrets as well. Also we have this gate which just sort of leads off into nothing. Let's make Let's make that a proper gate. So it's still nice and dense defenses. Speaking of which, this wall is like concerningly thin for how close it is to the biggest attack point. Alright, energy weapons. Gotta keep upgrading you. I don't think we have purple science for that. So let's just bring that wall down a little bit further. Just so we don't have one thick walls directly next to this whole thing. And speaking of which, let's make that just a little bit thicker as well. So hopefully that will be all nice and secure. And we can run back up to deal with our new trains. So we have this station up here, which is making a whole bunch of gears. And so I want to call it iron gear input. Like that. And I want to give it a train. So where are the trains? I need engines. Oh, big attack. Down on that wall again. I seem to have probably just missed it. Yep. Still don't get to actually see the guns firing, which is a shame. So let's find some engine units and get that new train in. Alright, so we have to run all the way down to here. The engine units are on this side of things. There's an attack hitting from the south. Alright, engine units are here. I'm just gonna stand there and grab some. How many do we need? We need 20. Alright, that's a lot, but not too many. Let me get some of those in. And then let's stand here while all of this stuff shows up. Getting a huge resupply of like 50 different types of things here. It's been a while since I've been in drone coverage range. So we're just going to sit here for a bit, watch the nice satisfying streams of drones moving in and out. I really could just look at this all day. Unfortunately, you have to actually go off and use materials in order for this to happen. Alright. All sorts of stuff is showing up. How is our gun turret production this bad? Like, it should be fine. Laser shooting speed 2 is finished. That's nice. We should be able to just start up military 3, which will lead to some stuff, I guess, like a tank. That sounds fun. You love tanks. Alright, so that can all get dropped off. Should be mostly fine now. We're still waiting on transport belts and walls and railways to get delivered, and I need to go check what's going on with the gun turrets. There's something seriously wrong with them. Alright. Any second now. And should be everything we need now. Let's go see what on earth is going on with gun turrets that makes them just not be producing at all. Because laser turrets are going fine, obviously. Oh, it's a copper shortage. That's unexpected. Are we getting copper and it's just all being used for wire? Yes, we are getting copper and it is all just being used for wire. Alright. Well, that's fine, I guess. We're just going to need to upgrade copper production. Okay. Yeah, this does not look like a sufficient belt of copper. Yeah, this looks like it is mostly dried up. Okay, so we can like shuffle them around a little bit to get more of this, but it's not great. I mean, there's 63k in there. It's not that much. Where is the nearest copper patch? We zoom out. There's copper down there. And that seems to be it. Alright. Well, we're going to have to go past those biters then, which is good. I mean, it's long overdue that we deal with those guys. So let's see. We have turrets. We have ammo. So we are going to head down south and deal with the longest lasting biter nest that has been like actively attacking at this point. Alright, so we're going to zoom out a bit for increased situational awareness. And alright, I don't want to get too close without a fortified location. So let's get a nice proper little turret box there. And just give it some ammo. Doesn't need to be a huge amount. But just enough that if I run screaming back there, as I'm just about to do, then it'll cover me. Alright, so that went pretty well. So now we can place a new, more advanced turret, and our drones will keep it repaired while we do this. Although we should probably give it a wall anyways. Alright, then we just need to not get hit by these guys' ranged attacks. And that turret currently has all of our ammo. Alright, give me some of that. And alright, those ranged guys are seriously annoying. Okay, just trap them. They leave those little piles of acid everywhere, which is very inconvenient. Alright, I didn't mean to open... Stop opening the map. On the turret. Gosh, we took a lot of damage during that, but the turret has died. We did make decent progress at least. So now we just... Let's get rid of... Oh, I died. Whoops. Alright, first death. That's fine. Just load an autosave. That was like 2 minutes ago. Man, things went from going perfectly well to not going very well at all in like 30 seconds. Yes, we need more ammo. So can I set this to give me like a lot of ammo? Because what happened there was I just didn't have the ammo to be placing turrets and loading them quickly enough. Also, I spent a lot of time fumbling around and clicking the wrong buttons, which didn't help. Alright, we are back. And why are all the drones with ammo coming from over there? The provider chest is right here. That's weird. I guess they must have taken ammo off of me at various points and put it in, like, that waste storage chest or whatever. Hey, we got another achievement. Good for us. Yeah, let's actually go over there and see what is happening over there. So if we just walk over here... it's probably this storage chest, which is just like filled with a huge amount of random junk. Let's put down another one of those, I guess. There's no reason not to have multiple, right? Alright, so now I have enough ammo that I should be able to deal with this. And also, I just need to throw grenades earlier at those stupid turret things that they have. I wonder if... Actually, this will be a good opportunity. It's not going to be effective, but I'm going to bring power down with me and use laser turrets. I just want to see them fire. No, don't trash them. Put them in hotbar, like the opposite of trashing them. Alright, so we're going to bring power all the way over here. Because we are ultimately going to need power here for the copper anyways. Alright. So now we are back here. Let's place some laser turrets. And give them a wall for cover. To the extent that that matters, I mean, they're mostly being attacked by... like, the ranged biters. Alright, so let's pull some of these guys and see what happens with the lasers. Reasonably effective. They're no gun turrets, but they're reasonably effective. That's good to see. Alright, so let's then bring power even further up and just place like a billion of them in here. And that should work. These guys actually have good range, so they're not really getting hit by the ranged attacks, which is nice. Alright, so let's move that a little further up and then place more of these guys in. And use some grenades to help out. Get rid of their turret equivalents. Alright. So that's mostly done. Just a little bit of cleanup left. And there we go. Get some lasers in. And that is honestly just much easier than doing it the old-fashioned way with the gun turrets. Alright, now we can take these laser turrets out. They don't need to be sitting here defending some now empty spot of land. So get rid of all of these. It's also nighttime, which is probably not the best time to have done this with laser turrets. Like I don't know how my power grid is right now. It might not be able to keep up. Alright, so we have to go through this forest along this cliffside to get to the copper. So let's just blast good solid hole through that. And there are also trees on the copper itself. Alright, so that all goes, that all goes. And there we go. Now we have this. So if I open up my blueprint book, I have this miner row blueprint, which should just be able to place a couple of those. And the top ones are going to be intersecting that cliff, so they're not going to work. But the rest of them should. Now we just have to sit here and let the drones do all the actual placing. Alright, so yeah, that. Obviously, none of those need to exist. And this belt is going to need to do something different. Also, we apparently need to actually craft miners. Whoops, that's an oversight. I thought I had some. We'll craft as many as we can for now. Alright, so these can all get powered up. And they're picking very random arbitrary ones to prioritize. Alright, that is going along. And okay, so then we can put those last couple belts in, I guess. That's fine. We aren't going to have enough resources to get all the miners, so we're going to have to head back and then build that again once we resupply. Don't run into a random rock. Alright, up we go. And probably should be running a train line around here as I do this. Alright, so we are almost there. Let's see, how do we actually get in? We can put another gate in here, and this area should be pretty secure now that I've blown up that biter nest. The rest of the area isn't, of course. Alright, so what do we need for these? We need plates, gear wheels, and circuits. So let's grab a whole bunch of those. Grab a whole bunch of those. And get those crafting. And just keep grabbing more of that. And get even more of those queued up. And then we'll wait for a little bit for drone resupplies, and then we'll head back off to finish. We're going to make a nice solid laser defense down there. So no need for... what's it called? No need for ammo to go down there. We can just bring the power lines and it'll be fine. Alright, so that should be... resupply should be good enough. We're still getting some stuff, but... let's head off and bring some train tracks down while I do. So this... actually, do we want to just connect this up to that loop? Or probably not. Probably want this to be its own separate thing just for simplicity's sake. So let's take that out. So you go down there. And then we need to connect these two up. Why is there just like a random 5 trees? This entire area is completely empty except for that one spot. Alright, that is not going to work. We need to turn more sharply. So, let's go back here and start by going that way and then curving up like that. Alright, that should be enough space for the train stop. We've also finished tech. Let's do lab research speed, because why not? I don't even know if that's the problem or if science production is the problem. Alright, so now we just bring this down, and we're going to have to move the power poles ever so slightly to not be in the way. And now this can just head straight south. There's another biter's nest here that I destroyed at some point. Alright, so we just go down. And now we have to get through all of this forest. So let's... Alright, that should be good enough. We're low on rails now. So we're going to have to build out the rest of this as far as we can. And how is that too far away to reach? It's like 5 feet away. Alright, that's... Yeah, okay, so now we're low on rails. So we're just going to drop down here and get all of these miners placed, which should be pretty quick. There we go. What else is there? There's some more stuff like hidden in that cliff. Can I unmark those for deconstruction? Yeah, so I can't blow those up until I have cliff explosives, which I don't think I could craft. Did I ever get around to researching cliff explosives? Oh, I did? Okay. So I would obviously just need to make those. And then we head back to resupply on rails to finish this off. Let's blow up some more of those trees as we go. Knowing my luck, they're probably gonna be in the way. Alright, so up we go. And I'm going to set this to be like 400. We always run out of rails, so set that higher so that hopefully we won't quite as much. Alright, now we should be within range of the logistics network. So we should be getting resupplies any second now. And where are the rails coming from? They're coming from up here. Yes, of course, that's where the rails come from. Alright. And it's a lot of rails delivered very quickly. What does this storage look like? It only goes up to 400. Let's make that slightly bigger, just so that we don't have a situation where we're completely out of rails. Alright. Yeah, those drones must have gotten very lost on their way. Very much not over there. Alright, so now we head back down and finish off that rail line. Alright, so now we're down here. And we just start dragging some rails. As I expected, we were able to barely get through those power poles. So now this also has to curve around and keep going. And now we go diagonal. Alright, so we're almost there. So let's go back to dragging this one. And those couple random trees are in the way. As is probably this entire forest. So what we need is... Actually, would it be easier to have it like this? And then just have this be as sharp of a curve as we can manage? Maybe that's better. And then we have to get rid of all of these trees that I missed with my first blasting. Alright, so then this we need to have go into there and then take those off. Then that hooks up to there. Alright, so now we have this nice long straight line which can act as the train station, which I don't have one on me, but I can craft one real quick. And then train station goes in. Belt needs to make its way over here, I guess. And up this way. Although not quite there. So we need to set up the loading, which go there and there, because this is only 2 wide, so the blueprint I made isn't relevant here. So we have that. Then we have our boxes, and let's get a couple more of those, so we always seem to be running out. So then these all go in, and then we get more of these. And then this just has to go up past those. And then this whole thing gets powered up and connected in. Alright, so now we have that. And then the next step is to put the train in. So we have a train. It goes there. And we give it 2 cargo wagons. And they can start filling up. Alright, then we need to give you some fuel, which I should have some on hand. There we go. And we're going to call this train station hopper input. And, oh, the biters seem to have gotten through a turret, although only, well, they got through a wall and damaged a turret. Looks like the turret was recovered, and now it's just a matter of waiting for a drone to get all the way over there from the walls. So now we have to go up here and put the other side of this train station in. And that is facing that way, so it has to be facing the same way, counterclockwise. So we go up here and craft a couple of those. Then we place that in. And I guess we're going to have to dismantle that wall because it's not needed anymore. And instead we put in these. And the output buffers like that. And then we get more of those. And then we stick them on a belt. And we power them all up. So you get to be copper output. And then let's find the train, add stations, copper input, weight condition, full, no, not fuel, weight condition, full cargo, add station, copper output, weight condition, empty cargo, automatic mode, and that should be all set to go. Obviously it's going to take some time for the iron for the copper to fill up. Then in the meantime we just have to get this onto wherever our copper belt is, which seems to be this one. So that's not too far, although there is this annoying pipe in the way. So then that goes, and we need to get across this pipe like that, and someone needs to fill in that. Cool. Success. Alright, now this isn't being used anymore, I don't think. So we take all that out. And then send this the rest of the way up, where we will attach it in like that, so that the old version still does get used some. And let's also upgrade all of these belts while we're at it. Oh boy. Yeah, that was inevitably going to happen, wasn't it? Alright, so we do that. Then we upgrade all of these belts. And then send them all up. And that should be good. Now hopefully the train comes by and actually delivers the copper so that that problem can be sorted out. In the meantime, we are a bit low on resources. Alright, how is that train going? It should be able to tell me, like, if I go over here. Full cargo inventory is like halfway up. Hopefully that's just because it's a bit slow to load and not because something has gone wrong. I should probably just head down there to investigate. It'll be really quick And I do need to set up the defenses down there as well anyways. I almost forgot about that. So we run down there and then see if everything is going well and if it needs any defending. Yep, they're attacking the laser turrets again. Seems like they're just going to keep doing that. Alright. So here we are. And yeah, it's just taking a while to load because all of these need to load up first before this gets like a full capacity thing. But it is loading up and it'll get there eventually. Okay, now this is also seemingly doing the annoying thing where it's not distributing it evenly among both sides. Alright. Another attack. So I think if we do this, it should mostly fix that, at least make it better. And then we're going to have to do the same thing over on this one. Yeah, because this one is also definitely prioritizing the left, although it doesn't seem nearly as bad. Alright, defense time. You just get... I don't really necessarily trust, like, individual laser turrets to be able to defend this. So we're just gonna have a lot of them. And because they don't use ammo, they just use power. So this should be fine. Now if they do get attacked too much, I might need to connect them up to the logistics network for repairs. But hopefully that isn't necessary. So now we just run the wall across, and we'll run the wall across this way, and up this way. And sure, let's send that all the way up to the cliff. And now I've walked myself out. Do I have a gate? Safe and efficient. Yes, it is. It is great. So now we just have to power all of these up. And right in time, too. Jeez. Actually, if I had been literally 5 minutes later, literally like 30 seconds later, those biters would have started gnawing on the walls. That's crazy. Like, I literally just powered them up, and then biters immediately showed up. Alright. So now this should be nice and secure. At least, unless the biters go really crazy about it. But they probably won't. If they do get really crazy about it, I might need to like drag a line of drone ports down here so that it can get auto repairs going. Hey, look, a train that almost hit me. Alright, so that can go along. And that does mean that our copper supply back at the base should be fixed then, if that train is gone. Are they attracted to lasers? I don't know. I do not know how... I do not know nearly much about how this game works to say, but they are a little bit. Like, I know if you place defensive turrets, they will sometimes come from just off-screen, like they see the threat, but normally they do that right when the turrets are placed. They don't wait for them to be powered up. So, who knows? Is basically the answer. Okay, now this is... I always forget to make this output to both sides of the belt. So let's fix that real quick. So That all goes out. That goes up. Then that goes in like that. And then immediately turns. And now we can use both sides of the belt for maximum throughput. Not that it probably matters, because I don't think we can use this much copper at the moment with our current smelting facilities anyways, but it's nice to have the extra. Alright. So that should be all set up. Now we just get to stand here and get resupplied. Drones are so cool. Yeah, bases in Factorio look very cool. Just sort of in general. Let's see here. It's definitely cozy and fun up until the biters start tearing through it all and destroying it, which hopefully doesn't happen. They got a little bit into the base earlier this stream, but I managed to run over there and stop them before they got too far. Alright, so getting all of our stuff back, and the only thing left are the turrets, which are actually producing now, because we have a supply of copper again. That's nice. Hopefully that'll also fix other random mysterious problems that might have otherwise showed up. Alright, so now we go back up to here, because we have more stuff to do up here. This isn't doing anything. Why is this not doing anything? Even if it were all full, then there should just be stuff left over on the belts, not actually nothing. So I think that must mean there is a problem. Oh, so probably isn't. I guess it's just these aren't filling fast enough. Do we just not have enough iron production? That would be annoying if that were what's happening. I mean, I guess we do chew through the iron pretty fast in this base, but I would really like to have buffers that are better than that. Yeah, did something happen? Did we, like... Why are all of these so empty? And yet the train is so close to full. What is going on? Oh, there's another wave of biters attacking. And instantly all gets repaired. Alright, we should probably go fight those biters as well. Alright, so the train goes off. Oh, did I not have those? Yes, I guess that's probably the problem. I just didn't have those set to have big enough stockpiles. And so they had to wait for new ore to go through, even though they could have been stockpiling the whole time the train was gone. Alright, so now this is running again, and we're producing plenty of plates. And still, yeah, so the iron just has to sort of zigzag through this whole gauntlet of smelters before getting turned onto plates and put onto this train, which is happening slowly but surely. And then this train goes up here and makes iron gears, which go onto a theoretical train here, which I haven't quite placed yet. Alright, so first let's make sure that this is signaled as its own separate block so that weird things don't happen where they think they're stuck. Then we can craft up a train with some cargo. Big train setup. Yeah, the plan is to use trains as like the primary way of distributing resources in this base, so I don't have to worry about belts crossing over and all that stuff, and I can just place down a train stop and say, please grab me the gears, and then it'll just send the gears there. Alright, so we can just put this train in and start filling it up. And let's see if we can get this whole area within drone network range. That would be helpful. Just gotta make sure the drone network is in all the various places where it might be useful for it to be. So now this is running again. We're using up a massive amount of iron plates to make a probably just hilariously huge amount of gears. Alright, we have some repair drones going up here. Did this get attacked? Must have. I didn't notice. I didn't notice the alert, but it must have been attacked. Oh, I guess it was probably attacked. I might have just blown it up with a grenade by accident. I don't see any biter corpses, at least, so it wasn't recent. It must just be because... Oh no, this area definitely has been attacked. Alright. Alexander Bots, thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. We are playing Factorio. We are currently just... I guess we should probably defend this better if it is actively being attacked. Didn't realize they were coming through up here. So let's get all of those in. Came from Factorio? Nice. Yeah, we are setting up a train-based factory. Yeah, I'm currently trying to figure out basically how trains work. I like them in concept, so I want to use them and see if they make things as efficient as I think they will. Alright, so let's just expand these laser turrets over that way. And why is that just barely out of range? Trains are great for getting yourself killed. Yeah, I've had a couple of close calls so far where, like, I walked across the track and then, like, 5 seconds later a train passed by. I was like, whoops. Alright, so this is... Alright, this is a bit of a gap. And we know they attacked that one, which means that we are at risk of being flanked. So let's extend the wall out. Let's extend the wall out to there. And that ought to be good for now. Alright, so now we just have to power those up. And that should have us mostly covered. Let's just get a couple more in sort of dead-ish zones, and then let's see. I do want to make sure that all of this is covered by the drone network so that if repairs need to happen, then they can happen. I don't know what the two zones mean there. Low power. Alright, that is concerning, considering most of our defenses are laser-based. Yeah, the accumulator is discharging just to keep up. And alright, so we need more power. So let's get more steam turbines in. So we have a sort of row of them down here. Oh, that's the problem. The problem is we are out of solid fuel. Might use trains for personal transport. That's a good idea. They are certainly very, very quick. Alright, so the problem with power is that we're relying on this thing to produce all of our solid fuel, and its boxes run out. So that's annoying. The other option is even more accumulators, even more solar panels. So let's see if we can get that to work. So if we just blueprint a massive row of, I think, less than 50 accumulators. Accumulators, create blueprint, and then we just go and place this somewhere. Just go over, place this blueprint down somewhere, and hopefully not somewhere that's been attacked a lot. I don't think we've ever been attacked from the east. So let's put that in and see if this can all go together. Alright, looks like we may have messed up the blueprint. We don't have power poles on this side. Let's fix that real quick. Alright, so now that it's daytime, how fast do the accumulators charge? So when we're mostly solar panel focused, does it keep up? There's that huge spike, which I guess was just... yeah, so these spikes are all just accumulators charging, I guess. So I think we need more solar panels. Do I have a blueprint of those? I could have sworn that I had a blueprint for solar panels. But I guess I don't. Set it to grid view so that we can have more of them in the thing. So we need to make one then. And just confirm, there are technically biters over there, but they're not going to come all the way up here. They're just going to go to the aura input probably. Alright, so we make a blueprint. We have it be this whole thing here. And we save that as solar panels. Create the blueprint, and we have to zoom way out to place this. Okay, there's a tree in the way somewhere. Alright, let's get rid of this forest and just clear out most of this entire forest so that we can place solar panels there instead. And then pop that. Alright, so then that can go in, as can that, and that. And we don't have enough solar panels in our inventory to do all this, but we can at least get started. And if we get this whole thing in drone coverage, actually, then maybe it'll just do it for us. So let's head up here. Some drone, go and place that in. And then we just need to connect this up. How do we connect that up to the drone network? It's apparently just in barely the least convenient possible place, I guess. Alright, so then we're just not going to do that then. We're just going to head over here, get within range of the solar panel producers, and alright. It's so close to working. So if we just do that, and then that, and then power all of those up. And I guess we have to get over there to place them in. Then hopefully we can build all these panels just based off of... Is someone going to do that? Or are you just going to sit there uselessly? I guess I'll place it myself. And I guess I'll place that myself. And that. And so now this is all connected up to the power to the same drone grid. And I guess drones should be coming in from somewhere to fill that up. Meanwhile, accumulators are discharging to keep up with the nighttime demand. But they are lasting decently well. And it's not going to be enough, but probably just need another one or two of those. Alright, there come the drones, finally. Looks like they just had to go really, really far to make it over here. And that should get all this built really quick. And then I think we're just going to need more accumulators. Also, all these drones are probably using a lot of power as well. Alright, it looks like accumulator charge actually went up just now. Oh, the solar panels are producing again. That's why. Alright, so if that's the case, then we did make it through the night, I guess, with the power we currently have. So let's just place in another one of these. And if we place it like there, then they should all be hooked up. So those all go in. And then drones have to travel across the continent to bring power to them. There we go. Yeah, the drones have quite a bit of travel time, unfortunately. I wonder if I can make them faster somehow. There's got to be some research that I haven't done yet. I know there was like a research for greater drone speed. There's got to be another one that I can do to make it even faster. So 2 entities are missing construction robots. And that's up here somewhere. So I guess let's run up and see what is going on up there. If we can figure out how to make it through this giant oil pipe. Alright, we can zoom back in now. Alright, there you go. So now we can run up this way. And who is missing construction robots? Up here and Y. Okay, so this one isn't connected up to the grid properly. So first, let's run up here, get our own personal construction robots to fix that. And then we need this to just snap over, so we get there and there. And then we get power across. And then, all right, then that one gets powered up. Where are you coming from? All right, then that one gets powered up, and somehow I've managed to miss it. Or this entire thing. Oh, that one never got built. That's like the most important one. All right, so we pop that one in. Now everything should be good. Oh, entity has been destroyed. That is concerning. There's always another emergency. Oh boy, they've gotten in. They've gotten in somewhere. Where is that? It was past a real gun turret? They must have gotten into the actual base. Alright. They're getting through all sorts of belts. Yeah. Oh no, they got around the iron defenses, I guess. I had the bottom right corner walled off, but they must have slipped around to the west. Okay, that's annoying. Down we go. And yeah, we're gonna have to rebuild half of this stuff anyways. Can I just get some backup here? Thank you. All right. So that's all fine. We need to build some more miners to replace it. Replace the destroyed ones. So where are those? Yeah, so I guess we can just craft 5 of them off of what we have right now. How did they get in up here? Did they come from above? Did they come from like that? Or how did that happen? How did they just go all the way around? Alright, well, regardless, the answer is to just fortify this location better. So let's get some quick laser turrets just around this whole region. And then we drag walls to defend the laser turrets. And they're probably not going to mess around with the train tracks, right, until they get through the laser turrets that are right there. So we can leave the trains outside of the defenses. Probably. As long as there's laser turrets nearby to cover them, should be fine. So let's just get the loading station itself behind some laser turrets. And then we just power all those up. You can cancel the deconstruct on the cliffs with shift and deconstruct again over them. That's good to know. Alright, so shift. Got it. That's good. Alright, so now we just power these up. And should be secure, probably. Probably gonna be fine. Also, it is 4:55, so I think we're gonna wind up the stream here for today. We made some progress. Progress on the new factory is absolutely glacial. Like, all we got today was the gear production in terms of building the new factory. There's just so much random other stuff that keeps distracting me and pulling me away from it. But slowly but surely, we are making our way there. So we're gonna keep on trucking along, and thanks to everyone for watching. We'll be playing Satisfactory again tomorrow, where I am currently working on Phase 3 project parts, so we have to make adaptive control units next, and then we can get to Phase 4, which should be very exciting. Other than that, Factorio will be again on Tuesday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time, so make sure to follow if you haven't already, so that you can catch me then, and I will see you guys next time.